I go in intermission or will we start?
Start. Let's go. 6:30.
Trina's not here, you got something there she got to read.
Hmm?
If Trina's not here, you got something there she's supposed to read.
She'll be here by that time. I'd say.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. Call our regular public council meeting for Monday, February 19th, 2024 to order. New business, Councilor Tepper.
Pass.
Pass. Councilor Manning.
I'll pass.
Councilor Pollard.
I'll pass.
Councilor Eppley, I'll put her in for her condolences. Councilor Goss.
Congratulations.
Deputy Mayor's not here, and I got a thanks and condolences. All right, we got any questions for the Q&A? No? All right, could I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you very much. We have a set of minutes for regular public council meeting for February 5th. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any errors or omissions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you very much. Conflict of interest, we don't have that little sheet tonight. So I guess if anything comes up during the course of business, make sure you make us aware. Proclamations, presentations, Q&A. We do have some proclamations. We have one for Heritage Day Week proclamation. Councilor Tepper.
Heritage Day Week Proclamations 2024. Whereas the third Monday in February is recognized nationally as Heritage Day, and whereas Heritage Day and Heritage Week are a time to reflect on the achievements of past generations and accept responsibility for protecting our heritage. And whereas our citizens should be encouraged to celebrate Newfoundland and Labrador's uniqueness and to rejoice in our heritage. And whereas in 2024, the residents of Newfoundland and Labrador will celebrate our rich and diverse heritage.
Therefore, I, Mayor Craig Scott, on behalf of the town of Torbay, do hereby proclaim Monday, February 19th, 2024 as Heritage Day and February 19th to the 25th, 2024 as Heritage Week. And I call upon all citizens to celebrate the richness of our past and the promise of our future. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor? Or you've got a comment? Go ahead, sir.
No, I just want to, again, with Heritage Week and anything to do with heritage, it's important to me, and that should be important to everybody who lives in the community. We got a long history here in Torbay, and since the History House opened a few years ago, we've been celebrating culture of all works in that building, and more recently the Heritage Committee were taking a look at our heritage regulations and upgrading those as well. So, I encourage everybody to get involved, and we're hoping to see more activities and events as if the summer ever gets there.
Oh, we got winter heritage too.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next one I already signed it the other day because the time has passed. However, if Councillor Manning wouldn't mind, she can read it out to the record and then we can adopt it. That's the Wear Red Canada Day.
Absolutely. Wear Red Canada Day, February 13, 2024. Whereas heart disease is the #1 killer of women worldwide and the leading cause of premature death for Canadian women, a fact unknown to many women and their healthcare providers. And whereas Canadian Women's Heart Health Alliance is an organization of volunteer health professionals and patients working hard to improve women's heart health. And whereas Wear Red Canada Day is celebrated annually to raise awareness for all Canadians, but especially Canadian women, to be mindful, curious, and proactive in the management of their heart health and wellness. And whereas we want to see better prevention, diagnosis, and care, and fewer women dying prematurely from heart disease.
Therefore, I, Craig Scott, Mayor of the Town of Torbay, do hereby proclaim February 13, 2024 as Wear Red Canada Day in the Town of Torbay. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments?
I would like to speak to this. I'm one of the lucky women that things were caught early enough that I was well watched. But there are a lot of women out there who aren't. So as it says, it's on us as to be proactive, conscious, and aware of our health and to keep on top of it all. Things creep up, and it's good to be on top of it. That's it.
Well said. Any other comment? And I'm glad that you did get checked out and picked out early, and you're still sitting around here with us.
Some might be.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, next one is Pink Shirt Day. Councillor Epting.
Tell you, making it work, Mayor. Sorry, friends, for being late. And before we start the meeting, if I could, can I ask to have it on the record? I owe an apology to our Director of Human Resources. And I meant to do it last week, and I didn't, so I want to do it now. I mentioned correspondence that I missed in my email that Mark had already sent out to us. So I owe him an apology for missing his email, and I just wanted to have that note on the record.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, Pink Shirt Day. Whereas the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, bullying is a problem affecting too many residents, including children, youth, and adults across our communities. And whereas statistics show that 47% of Canadian parents have at least one child who has been a victim of bullying, approximately 1/3 of the population has experienced bullying as a child, approximately 1/3 of teenagers have been bullied recently, and 40%, or nearly half, of Canadians are bullied in the workplace every week. Mayor, if I can indulge, I'm going to read that one again and slow it down because it's that important. Whereas statistics show that 47% of Canadian parents have at least one child who has been a victim of bullying, approximately 1/3 of the population has experienced bullying as a child. Approximately 1/3 of teenagers have been bullied recently, and 40%, or nearly half, of Canadians are bullied in the workplace every week. And whereas we all have a part to play in promoting healthy relationships in our schools, workplaces, and communities, and whereas building awareness and understanding of bullying and promoting kindness and compassion in our relationships and communities will work towards ending bullying. Whereas together we are working to create opportunities and build capacity to promote components of healthy relationships in our schools, places of employment, and the community through awareness, knowledge, and skill building. And whereas through strong community collaboration, we encourage everyone to spread kindness and lead the way by reaching out and speaking out, and visually show their support by wearing a pink shirt.
Now therefore, I, Craig Scott, Mayor of the Town of Torbay, do hereby proclaim February 28, 2024 as Pink Shirt Day in the Town of Torbay, dated this 19th day of February 2024. So moved.
Second.
Comments?
Oh, I do. Okay.
Right.
Can I speak? Thanks, Mayor. We've had some pretty raw and out there stories of bullying that have happened in this region within even just the last couple of weeks. I watched an episode on Out of the Fog yesterday, and it was a young woman. She was Black, talking about her experience of being bullied in this community, in a school that my daughter attends. I will tell you that in the school that my son attends, there is bullying. In this community, we have a job to lead, And we come here every day, we sit around this table, and we lead by example, showing people how to run this community. We talk about inclusion, but the conversation of walking the talk is something that I've heard in my workplace a lot of years back, and I went, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think as residents in the community, we all have an obligation, every one of us, to walk the talk, to talk about our own precepts, our own thinking, things that we don't understand might land in a way that's harmful to someone else. And to do what I just did when you walk in, if you made a mistake, and go, hey, sorry, I made a mistake, and own it. So I think if we could ask for anything is a little more kindness from people, to be a little more aware of what you're doing, and to be willing to have those difficult conversations, or those general conversations around the kitchen table about, let's make sure that we're doing our level best to be kind to everybody every day. Thanks, Mayor.
Oh, that's it. Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Violence Prevention Month. Council Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. Violence Prevention Month 2024. Whereas the Violence Prevention Initiative of the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador reflects government's commitment to addressing the problem of violence in this province, and is based on a vision that people of our province will live in safe, caring communities where there is an inherent respect for each other and violence of any sort is unacceptable. Whereas the solution to eradicating violence against those most at risk in our society, women, children and youth, Indigenous women and children, persons with disabilities, older persons, and others who are victims of violence because of ethnicity, sexual orientation, or economic status, is through a collaborative effort between the provincial government and the community to improve services and to educate all residents of our provinces about violence prevention. Whereas the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, with its community partners and stakeholders, have been working to improve services to victims of violence and violence prevention programs for many years. Whereas Violence Prevention Month is the perfect opportunity to contribute to the fight against violence and abuse in the province. The Government of Newfoundland and Labrador have made a commitment to partner with the community to seek long-term solutions to violence.
Therefore, I'm pleased to proclaim the month of February 2024 to be Violence Prevention Month. I encourage all residents of the town of Torbay to recognize that violence prevention is everyone's responsibility and to support violence prevention activities and events. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
Hi again. Thanks, Mayor. I can't remember exactly what they were, the stats now, but I've shared them in this chamber in the past and within the last year. There was a situation where the Iris Kirby House was so full that they had to turn people away in recent times, and the statistics were off the chart about violence. There's a course called Empowering Them that's offered. It's online, and it talks about violence. It talks about microaggressions and macroaggressions and what do we think. And you know, the traditional story of, you know, what we think of violence is not always what it looks like. So I think if I could, I think it's important to share, ask people to, you know, share the Empowering Women course, talk to people about what's going on. Safety is important. And a lot of people live with violence. They live with it at home, they live with it in their workplace, they live with it in schools. It's everywhere. So again, it's back to us as people to check what's happening in our environment, reach out, check if people are okay, see how your neighbors are doing, and do the best that we can to do our part to make safer communities. Thanks, Mayor.
Yep. Well said. Any other comment? I will just say that, to your point, these two proclamations together are, I think, very powerful. They send a very powerful message. I myself have learned a great deal through the FCM program that I did, the male allyship program, as well as the provincial one that we did. And I think that, you know, what you learn from doing that type of training is exactly to your point. Sometimes it's not obvious. A particular phrase or comment or anything like that could be perceived as violence or bullying, and that we all need to make sure that we're educating ourselves and understanding. And don't be offended if somebody says to you, you know, I didn't like that, what you said there. Take it as an education opportunity for you to understand exactly what it is that, how that affects that person or people. So anyway, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Mayor's report, I don't have anything to report per se tonight, so. New business arising, sorry. Anything on that anybody wants to bring up? Particular? It's still a pretty big report. Are we looking at paring that down?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, thank you.
We're working on it.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, correspondence. We do have a correspondence here for the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, an update to procurement thresholds. What is this about, Sandy?
Well, this is just, again, from the Public Procurement Agency
Yeah,
through the Public Procurement Act, and they've increased thresholds for open calls for bids.
okay,
So eventually there are higher thresholds for that. It's a
All right.
very straightforward standard.
okay, perfect, thank you. So we'll be going on to where it needs to go. Best kind, committees of council. Committee of the whole minutes from February 12th, 2024. Can I get a motion to adopt those, please? There's no motions in there already?
No.
No, okay.
So moved.
Move. Seconder?
Second?
Seconded. All in favor?
Quick question.
Oh,
We
question?
didn't note in here who was going to be attending FCM in the minutes. Should we note that?
No, they'll have to come forward. I don't think so. Sandy knows.
I thought it was in there, to be honest with you.
When I read it, I didn't see it,
No.
and I just thought if we're adapting it, because we did decide who was going to be participating.
Yeah, okay, yes, actually, that was there. Because there's 3 attending this year, but next year there could be 3 different. So we have 3 people going this year, and then all other councillors will have an opportunity to attend in 2025. So we just took the names out, but I mean, if you want us to put those back in.
I just think it would be good to have it there for public record.
That's fine with me.
Yep.
We can add those back in.
Yeah, just in case they forget they were there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you very much. Planning, land use development, where am I to? Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's lots on the go, as evidenced by all the reading that's after the only one motion that's there. So I'm only going to read the motion. If anybody has any questions relating to all the other information that's on the go, feel free to ask. So the motion to accept the Torbay permit listings for weeks ending February 14th, 2024 as tabled. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. Thank you. That it?
As I say, there's a lot of information there, and I'm certainly not going to
All
run
right.
down through it. There are a lot of things still in process and in legal proceedings as well, so.
Okay. Scott, if there's no decisions to be made there yet, there's no point of us talking about it. All right. Admin and HR, Councillor Manning.
Okay, also too, the minutes are there. We have one motion to bring forward. I guess I should probably start. Our meeting was held on Monday, February 12th, 2024. The motion there is for the organizational chart review for the town of Torbay. So the motion reads, the town of Torbay adopt the revised organizational chart as presented, effective February 19th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Just to let Councillor Rappy know, she wasn't here when I mentioned it. Now that we've adopted that, tomorrow I'll send out a revised, tomorrow or next day, a revised committee
Right.
assignments. And, because I'm going to drop down from 7 committees to 6, and this was necessary to be able to do that, so. Okay. Thank you.
There is another motion there.
Was there?
Yes.
Another motion.
Yeah, thank you. Everything is there in the minutes, so if there's any questions to anything else is there. I'll move on to the next motion. It's one of our policies. It's the social media and media relations policy, and certainly amended. The town of Torbay adopt a revised social media and media relations policy as presented effective February 19th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions?
There's a couple of issues that I have with the policy. I called and I spoke with staff today. The first one I have a problem with is under litigation, personnel, and private interests. It says the town of Torbay also reserves the right to withhold confidential information concerning commercial transactions, example, purchase and sale of land and property. This applies to council's own commercial interests and to the various parties involved in the individual business transactions. This one bothers me because it's council's transactions. And if council is taking a transaction, information's being withheld, that's land or property or something that belongs to the taxpayers of the town. So withholding that information causes me concern. I'm really not comfortable with the language in that part of the policy. And the other part that I had a concern with is under social media use. And it says, Town of Torbay employees and council are strongly discouraged from engaging and participating in any forums or social media platforms referring to the daily operations, staff, and elected officials of the Town of Torbay. And I would share, I guess, that from my perspective, each of us are accountable for our own behavior on social media. We have legislation in place through the Code of Conduct that states very clearly and explicitly how councillors should behave in a personal and public manner. And I'm concerned about language that says that we as members of the public who are engaging with the public, who need to be accessible to the public, are strongly discouraged from engaging and participating in forums where people are. How we conduct ourselves in those spaces is one thing. That we should or shouldn't engage in that space, though, I think should be the decision of the councillor. So we all have strategies in how we engage with people and how we listen. But if someone tags me in a post and says, hey, Trina, I'd like to talk to you, then I can reach back to that person in the post and say, yep, absolutely, give me a call. I'm happy to have a chat with you. I don't have to engage in the forum, but I can absolutely engage with the person who's engaging with me. So in my reading of this policy and looking at it, those two sections are sections that I'm not comfortable with, and I won't be able to support it as presented. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, I can certainly provide some comments on that, and I would invite Mark as well to add any comment. The whole intent here is not to prevent debate and healthy discussion, but it should be done in a public forum, in this chamber, for example. That's where the discussion and the items are brought forward, and if anybody has concerns or questions, they should be brought forward through proper channels. The whole intent of this policy is to avoid engaging with comments that are being made on social media. So people are constantly making these types of comments on social media, and this, by the way, stems from a recent comment on a forum here in Torbay for Families, or Families in Torbay, or something to that effect. I'm not sure, I'm not a part of that forum. It was a very derogatory comments that were made towards a particular staff person within the town. The idea there is not for us to engage in that, right? Because that serves no purpose whatsoever. There's nothing that prevents or stops a councillor from engaging with individuals, and if someone reaches out to you through a public forum, to return that response and say, yes, I'm happy to speak to you. But to make and respond to those comments with your own comments through these public media forums serves no purpose, in my view. Because that's, social media, we can't control that. The language is also saying it's strongly discouraged. We all recognize we cannot control what elected officials or staff say or do. But what we're trying to say here is engaging in that type of a forum through the social media sites serves no purpose. Bring it to the council table, and that's where it should be discussed and dealt with. Mark, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I guess just to further add to, we just want to be sure we're protecting the town too from a liability perspective in making any comments out on social media platforms that the town is not a part of. So there's a protection piece to this as well for staff and for council members as well. to ensure that we don't run ourselves into a situation where we may say or do something or respond to a post on social media when it's just an opinion. And as the CAO has said, you know, if it's through the proper forms and through the proper channels, we have mechanisms to deal with that. And to me, I see it as well as a protection piece for everybody in the chamber and our staff as a whole. Yeah.
And a couple of things I would add to that as well. I mean, in my previous life, I dealt with this quite a bit in all the municipalities across the province. And I've seen situations where councillors, for example, or staff do engage, and it just goes back and forth, and it serves absolutely no purpose. The other thing I would say is that you will see situations where someone will say something that will cross into the territory of libel or defamation. And in that case, there are other channels to address that. So if someone is saying something that you believe is defaming you as an individual, then you have recourse through the legal system to address that. Right? It's not something that needs to be addressed through that public forum, but you do have legal redress. Okay.
Okay. Any other comment? I will just say one thing, or a couple things actually, quickly. There's nothing in this that prevents us, any of us, from going on social media and engaging with people. It's just, we can do it, I can do it, you can do it, any of us can do it, we're all individuals. It's just a policy statement to say that it's discouraged. The other part about it, I would say about the other question you had, Trina, about litigation, personal private interest. The town follows all the legal rules that we're supposed to in terms of what we disclose to the public. People also always have the option to ATIP the town to get additional information. So it's not that the town is not purposely or withholding anything, is that we've always withheld legal, personal information on people, so I don't see anything there. Was that in our previous policy anyway? Or was it? I don't know.
Yeah, Mark, go ahead. Some of it was.
Yeah, the only updates to this policy are the red fonted items on the last page.
So it is as it was before?
The rest of it was always there, yeah.
All right, okay, thank you. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Got it, Rhonda?
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Where am I to? Corporate Services, Councillor Tapper. Yes, sir.
How's that? Thank you. Yeah, so for the corporate services report, we did meet on February the 14th. Just read some of this into the record. Payroll, regular payroll for 58 employees for the 2-week period ended January 31st, 2024. Total $132,877.50. Accounts payable for the 2-week period ended February 9th, 2024, fiscal 2023. Invoices in the amount of $209,018.44 were processed and posted to the 2023 year. For the 2-week period ended February 9th, 2024, invoices in the amount of $288,006.76 were processed. So we do have some invoices for council approval, which are listed there. And I would move a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Mayor, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Just from an inclusion perspective, I know that we're not reading out the information in the package anymore about this. For someone who's able to see, that's fine because they can read it. But for someone that's blind that would be interested and wanted to follow along, how do they go about understanding what we just proved?
Well, I mean, they can certainly contact us directly.
Yeah, I'm just, like, from the reading perspective, for the time that it takes for the payments of what goes out.
Right, but, I mean, you could say that for every report. There's, I don't know how many hundreds of pages that are here. I mean, we don't read them all out, right?
I agree. I'm just curious for the financial component because we are talking about people's money. But I'm just, from an inclusion perspective for consideration, maybe if we can take it away and think about it.
Sure.
But I just think that as I'm here, I can see it, I can hear it, I have the ability. But from an inclusion perspective, if someone's blind, I don't know. I know that you had business cards that had, and I don't know if they still do, but had Braille on them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think from an inclusion perspective, I would just ask that we revisit the
Sure.
practice of reading out the financials, please.
There might be a way through, what's this software that we use here, Ann? iCompass. Describe something, is it? Is there a way to do that? Check it.
I'll go
Right.
into it, yeah.
But
Okay.
people have the ability to message us as well, right? During the meeting?
Not through the software itself,
Yeah.
but through email.
Yeah, through the phone. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. That it? We already voted on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else you got, buddy?
So, item 2, Corporate Service Committee motions. Motion number 1, Team Simmons, donation request. A donation request was received from Team Simmons, who have won the Newfoundland and Labrador Men's Curling Championships. And congratulations to them all. Team Simmons will be representing the province at the Briar in Regina in March. The team has requested a donation to assist with the cost of traveling to the Briar. The committee discussed the town's continued support of curling and the quality of young curlers coming from the town of Torbay. In accordance with the town's donation policy, the committee recommends a donation of $200 to Team Simmons. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? I have a question. There's a player from Torbay on Team Simmons? I
Yes.
wasn't aware. I knew we had one on Perry and Young. Now we got one on Simmons. Excellent. All right, that's all I had to ask. Obviously, they must if it complies with our donation policy. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Motion 2, Holy Trinity Elementary donation request. A donation request was received from Holy Trinity Elementary to support academic programming at school, purchasing Chromebooks and items to support the STEAM and robotics programs. In accordance with the town's donation policy, the committee recommends a donation of $200 to Holy Trinity Elementary. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion 3, Neil Maynard U13 Tournament donation request. A donation request was received from NEMHA to assist with the costs of hosting the U13 Neil Maynard Tournament, hockey tournament. The tournament is held in memory of Neil Maynard, who was a U13 player with Northeast at the time of his passing. The committee discussed the town's continued support of young athletes from the town, the quality of this tournament, and the recognition that it brings to the town. In accordance with the town's donation policy, the committee recommends a donation of $200 to the NEMHA to assist with the cost of hosting this tournament. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? Questions? The opening ceremonies for that tournament is this Friday night at 6:30. We did receive an invite for members of council if we'd like to attend. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Motion 4, MAA Assessment Services. Based on the general provisions of the Assessment Act 2006 and Public Accounting Standard PS 1300, all clients of the Municipal Assessment Agency are required to sign a contract for service. The town of Torbay has received a contract for adoption and signature under these provisions. The committee recommends approval of the contract for assessment services with the Municipal Assessment Agency and requests the signature of the mayor on the contract to indicate council's approval. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion 5, taxation on vacant land in watershed area. On April the 6th and April the 21st, 2009, Council passed 2 motions making vacant land within the watershed area non-taxable. These motions were not in accordance with the Municipalities Act. It is the intention of the town to rescind both of these motions. The committee recommends rescinding motion 097-09 from the April 6, 2009 council meeting and motion 116-09 from the April 21st, 2009 council meeting. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? We're not going to go back looking for taxes for them people from 2009, are we?
I doubt it. No,
Okay.
we're not.
No.
No.
Okay. And other question I have. So we did that at the time because we didn't think it was fair for people with land in watershed that was basically
Yeah.
almost unusable to
Well-
have to pay. So I understand that it goes against the Municipalities Act, I guess.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do we have any other recourse that we can do in terms of a,
Well, you can set the rate at whatever council chooses. So you
Okay.
can set a rate, but just lower the rate,
all right, okay. So
recognizing the lack
that's
of.
another discussion we can
Yeah.
have in the future.
Yeah,
We can set it
absolutely.
at a dollar if we want to.
But just on the reference to that, though, the property by being impaired by the watershed is taken into account under the Assessment Act anyway.
Yes.
So the value of the land should actually reflect the, if for lack of a better word, diminished value, whether there is a diminished value or not, is yet to be determined. But for whatever that value from the assessment purposes is, the whole assessment process takes that into account and reduces the value of that land. So that's why it should be, and the municipality that doesn't allow for a blanket elimination of taxes related to property. You can
Okay.
do different classes and different tax rates.
And speaking like that, I mean, the minimums are there as well. So if the values are diminished, the amount of the assessed value should bring it down to the minimum level.
All right, thank you.
Question. My understanding from conversations about this was that some of the land that has not been taxed is not in watershed. Some of it is actually zoned rural and still has not been taxed. And the other question that I have is, if we choose not to go back and look at the amount of monies that the town lost because of the motion, which is not in line with the provincial legislation, what does that mean for the people who have been paying taxes in the time since this motion was passed? Because we need to be fair and equal to all residents. So I'm just curious to know how we're going to handle that. Thanks.
Well, I don't, if we had a motion to, if the land was in watershed, we wouldn't have been charged them any tax. Right?
Yeah, I don't understand.
The motion that was passed was that there
2009.
would be zero money collected from anybody who had land in the watershed area.
Right.
But in some of the spaces that we've been looking at, there's a case in particular, Brian, that we've been dealing with that is not in watershed, it's actually zoned rural. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that it is zoned rural. There has been no taxes collected on this, with an understanding that it has proximity to the watershed. And the question I'm asking is, if some residents are paying taxes on land, this motion was a contravention of the provincial legislation, which is why we're rescinding it. Where and how is that equal and fair to the people who've been paying taxes in the time frame since this motion was passed?
But those people that have been paying taxes are not in the watershed, correct? Like, anybody that was in the watershed wouldn't have been paying based on those motions.
Can I ask that it gets looked into? Just have staff go back, have a look at it, and do a review of what's been happening.
If there are people that haven't been paying and they weren't in the watershed, that's a different issue, right?
Yeah.
But
So-
the motion deals with property within the watershed.
Yeah.
But we can certainly look at that.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the details of specific things that were talked about at committee level, but maybe if, you can chat with the director to see what the story is there. But we do have some confusion around, land and taxation and that stuff, and I just want to make sure that we're applying it equally and fairly to people.
Absolutely.
However that makes the most sense. That's all I'm
That's the whole goal here.
Yeah, I know.
Is to treat
and-
people fairly. yeah.
But I'm sure I'm gonna get the question of, well, if they didn't pay and I did,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Right.
So maybe if people have questions, we can ask them to reach out to you, Sandy.
Sure.
And, then that can be followed through the right channels with staff. Would that be okay?
Sure. yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, any other comment? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion number 6, tender for 3/4 ton pickup. During the council meeting of February 5th, 2024, council awarded a tender for a 3/4 ton pickup to Cabot Ford. Subsequent to the award, it was indicated that Cabot Ford would not be able to deliver the pickup for 120 to 150 days. Hickman Motors has the pickup tendered on their lot and can deliver the required vehicle within 30 days. The tender bid of Hickman Motors was $996 plus HST, in excess of the bid of Cabot Ford. The committee recommends rescinding the award of the tender of the 3/4 ton pickup with the added accessories: floor mats, reverse alarm, bed liner, seat coverings, back rack, traffic arrow, and running boards. From Cabot Ford in the amount of $84,014.85 plus HST, and awarding the tender to Hickman Motors in the amount of $85,011 plus HST, with deliver from Hickman Motors within 30 days. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions?
Question.
Go ahead.
And I think that I had asked the question of Brian, and Brian did say that, was the time frame noted in the tender? Was the 30 days noted in the tender?
In the bid, you mean? In the bid from Hickman's?
In the bid, in the RFP or the request.
So in the tender, there was no time frame required. But in the bid, in the two bids, Cabot Ford indicated that it'd be 120 and 150, and Hickman's would be within 30 days. And we checked with public procurement. There's another section within the tender that we had there that alluded to the that we could accept because of number of days, or delivery date, sorry. If that answers your question. I think that's where you're going.
It does sort of.
Yeah, in the tender package itself, it does allow us to make a decision based on number of factors, one of which is delivery time. So we did have that ability.
Yeah, and I probably shouldn't prolong it, but the thing is, usually if a person asks for a bid and you ask the same question to person A and person B, they bid on the exact information, right?
Yeah.
So if they go back and say, you go back and say, A and B, we require this particular vehicle in 30 days, are they gonna adjust their prices up along those lines for it, or not bid at all? And that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah,
Just
no,
make
I
sure
understand what you mean.
that the bidding ground is fair ground, that's all.
Yeah, so we did have the person from Public Procurement Agency look it over, and that's what they came back with.
All right. Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion 8, financing for the 3/4 ton pickup and heavy-duty pickup with dump.
Do 7 first, please.
Motion
Oh.
7.
Did I miss one? Oh, sorry, Mark. Motion 7, change of authorized signatories on the town's RBC accounts. With the resignation of the town's Director of Corporate Services, Norm Snellgrove, the authorized signatories on the town's accounts with RBC are required to be updated. Norm Snellgrove, current Director of Corporate Services, will be removed as an authorized signatory to be replaced by Mark Whalen, Director of Human Resources. The committee recommends the addition of Mark Whalen, Director of Human Resources, and the removal of Norm Snellgrove, Director of Corporate Services, as a signatory on all town accounts with RBC. All other signatories and signature requirements are to remain as currently in place. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, motion 8, financing for the 3/4 ton pickup and heavy-duty pickup with dump. The town issued a request for financing proposals for the 3/4 ton pickup and the heavy-duty pickup with dump. 2 responses were received, TD Bank and the NLCU. The financing quotes received are NLCU 5.10%, TD 5.065%. The amounts to be financed are heavy-duty pickup with dump, $146,437. Payment amount, $2,768.05. 3/4 ton pickup, 87,616. Payment amount, 1,656.17. The committee recommends that the town award the financing of both vehicles to TD Bank at a lower quoted rate of 5.065% for an amortization period of 5 years for the amounts and payments indicated above. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I believe that is it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Excellent. Where am I to? Economic Development and Tourism. Councillor Appleby.
Thank you, Mayor. We met on February 8th from 6 to 7 p.m. In attendance were myself, Councillor Manning, and staff member Director Carrie Murray. We talked about the follow-up with the high school for the youth entrepreneur competition. There's a Meet the Chamber event happening on February 27th, so I understand that that's been shared out to all of council, and the conversation is going to be around the Killick Coast Chamber of Commerce, so that regional cooperative chamber concept again. So inviting anyone who's interested to come out and take that in. There's an article for the Business View magazine, which is going to be put together. It's going to have some pictures and talking about how great our beautiful town is. And I have to tell you, I was dropping my daughter to school the other morning after the snowstorms, and I was just coming down Marine Drive here looking at the coastline. And I said to her, I said, man, it's not hard to tell where beautiful Torbay gets its name. It was just something else to really see. So I'm really excited that we're going to have this out there. Other initiatives, a formal application has been submitted to the Community Capacity Building Program for funding to support some tourism engagement sessions. And there's a meeting scheduled with FCM staff to gather information on the Green Municipal Fund to see what opportunities are there from the town's perspective. So when we were in the meeting, Kerry had mentioned that he had reached out to FCM because I talked about, you know, the money that was there, and there have been some communication from FCM about that day. Actually, it was great because in the middle of the meeting, he was like, well, I reached out to this one, I wasn't sure. We all know FCM is a really big organization. So I was able to go, no worries, Kerry, tell you what, I'm going to hook you up with the lady who's responsible for the Atlantic region and get her to point you in the right direction. So in the meeting, while we were there, I sent the email to Melissa, and Melissa connected with Kerry and are able to roll that out. So we're talking about efficiencies and effectiveness and awesomeness of having someone connected at FCM. It's just an example thereof. The other thing, if I could indulge just for a minute, because I will miss roundtable, but if I could, I want to extend a thank you to FCM. We had a dear friend of ours pass today, and I'm sure it will come up in roundtable, and I apologize for being late. But one of the things that was super cool that FCM did was at a board meeting, they actually had the We Believe sign up behind the full board and recognized Elizabeth Laurie and her Believe campaign. So
To your point, I added Jean.
thank you. I appreciate that, so I will touch on that then as well. But I just want to thank FCM for that because, you know, it's really cool. We do this here. We were the first municipality to stand with her and say, we got you, which is something I know we're all really proud of. And it was really magical to see people right across this country stand shoulder to shoulder to support her. Again, back to the power of what FCM can do. So I just want to extend that thank you. So in my reports, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
All right, any questions? All right, all good, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mayor.
Now, moving on, history, heritage, culture, and arts. Councillor Tapper.
Thank you. There was a paper copy distributed prior to the meeting. Just go through some of this. Under the operations report, Saturday evening, for your information, starting 7 o'clock, there's a special exhibit going to be open and an inductee ceremony to the Torbay Arts and Culture Hall of Fame. It's open to the public and anybody. There's going to be 4 performers, 2 4 names, 2 that are deceased and 2 that are still with us, but it should be a nice little ceremony to kick off. This will be an annual event. So there's some professional development seminars coming up. History House is hosting the upcoming Northeast Avalon Cultural Attractions Committee meeting on February 29th. And next Museum Advisory Committee is scheduled for March 6th at the History House. The manager gave us a financial report, and the minutes are there from the previous meeting of the MAC. Number 4, there's some special project funding that the manager's gone after, and that's attached on Appendix A. And there was some new funding announced just recently on Confederation 75 Celebration Grant funding. So we discussed that, and we are going to apply for some funding through that grant as well. So if there's any questions, there's information there as well attached. So if there's any questions.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Number 2, Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. We met on the morning of Valentine's Day, bright and early, 8:15. I won't read all through it because a lot of it's on the in process, and as you know, the department is heavily laden down with the activities of winter at the present time. Well, under the safety lights for the fire department under B, 1B, as we're still waiting for the installation of those lights, there's an opportunity here to submit a grant to help us move along our accessibility plan, and by getting some pedestrian signals, accessible pedestrian signals. So we got a motion here to submit an application for the Accessible Communities Grant to have accessible pedestrian signals installed at 2 of the existing town-owned crosswalks and a new crosswalk, which will be installed in front of the town office this summer. The cost per site is approximately $4,000. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The conversations around sidewalk and sidewalk construction and the proposed parking lane across from the post tap house there's responses there from transportation infrastructure on that, and I guess it goes as expected. They won't permit the sidewalk to be pushed into the rock facing, shall we say, and the road has essentially stayed as it is. So that's there for your review. We can certainly follow up on that later if anyone so desires once they get a chance to run down through the response.
Okay.
There's a list there of the ongoing projects and the ones that we hope to complete for 2024.
All right, any other questions?
Just one.
You got a motion there, right?
I read the motion. We just did the motion.
You did? Mm-hmm.
Good.
We vote on it?
Mayor,
All right.
can I add a couple of points to that?
We're moving too quickly.
You finished me off too quickly, too.
Yeah.
I'm number 4, I know, right? Under B, the speed comment, there's a response there from TI as well in terms of what their preference is in having the signs rather than the actual speed bumps themselves. So I'm certainly going to look into that and see if we can't get those placed somewhere in an email line. And so in our report to worship, unless Councillor Ackley has something to follow.
Because to your point, that was the letter I got back from the minister, right? I found it out too?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Councillor Ackley?
Thank you. Number 1, around the parking around the post tap house. Just wanted to share again with the community that there's a full parking lot up at Torbay Common. And yes, there are times that's at capacity, but a lot of times there is space there. And there is a walkway and steps that can take you right down to the post tap house. So I think that, just to remind people that there is parking that is available up there, and that it may be safer to park up at the common and then walk down than park on the side of the road. I do know, Councillor Pollard, that we had a conversation a while back about looking at lighting around that space as well. I drove up there one night and it was really dark and called you and said it's something we should think about. So I don't know that we've gotten as far enough to get it on the agenda yet, Brian. But I think it's important to think about that, because I know one night when I drove up there it was quite dark. Did we talk about that at committee? I don't
I'm pretty sure there's already a couple lights added.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
when it came out, I passed it on to Doug at planning, and they put the request in.
You guys are deadly. That's awesome. Thank you. And I just wanted to thank you as well for contacting the Department of Transportation and Works. I know that the resident who contacted us on Indian Mail Line that was really concerned recently about the traffic and the speeding there was looking for action, and we did what we could do so far. So thank you for that. From the speed calming perspective, we also talked at committee about speed bumps on our own roads, though. And there's, it's on the agenda, and many things on the agenda are working along, but we talked about having a timeline to get that straightened out, because soon enough the snow will be gone and summer will be back. And I'm with you, Mayor Tapper, or Councillor Tapper. I like the summer better too, to be honest. But I think it's important for us to be really getting into what we can do on that in the timeline. So the director had committed to getting his staff to look at that and bring it back to us so we can be ready for the fall. Or spring, sorry, I'm a little mixed up tonight too. To get ready for that. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Anything else?
Could I just
Go ahead.
comment on the parking?
Sure.
It's unfortunate that the department didn't go along with our recommendation, because you know, I understand anyway that we were approved for the full amount of funding that we requested a couple of years ago, and then they came back and backtracked. Meanwhile, they came along and resurfaced the road, got up. So, you know, it should have been done all at, you know, in a one project. You know, but that's the way it turned out. And unfortunately, there's not too many options there for parking, and there is great to have the parking at the common, but you're not going to get up there this evening, you know, with the snow and everything. In the winter is bad. So, but I understand the owner of the building is looking at other options as well. So hopefully we'll come up with something.
Right. Okay. Very good. Maybe I'll have to send another email to the minister and see if I can get him to change his mind on that.
Yes.
But you never know. Anyway, thank you very much. Recreation and Community Services, where am I to? Councillor Goss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We met by Zoom on Tuesday, February 13th from at 3 p.m. Myself, Deputy Mayor Thorne, Goss, and our Director, Jen Martin. Again, everything is there for the viewing, if you have any questions. Just one thing I want to touch on. There is an NHL Legends Tour that's coming to Jackburn, and the Youth and Seniors Coordinator has arranged a partnership with Juniper Ridge Intermediate and the NHL Legends Tour that is coming to the province for a speaking event. Former NHL players will visit the school and speak to students. And it is our hope, and I think we're pretty sure will be touched upon, that with our what we spoke about earlier in terms of bullying and so forth, you know, have people of that stature who you know, played in the NHL, and hopefully the kids look up to, that they're going to have a conversation that the kids will listen to on this. So I think that's worth noting for this for that meeting. Beyond that, there's all the agendas there. If there's any questions, just please ask.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right. Liaison committees, I don't have any update on any of the ones that I got there. Jack Byrne, update?
We didn't have a quorum, so we couldn't meet.
Okay.
There is a potential liability coming up. I don't want to alarm anybody about or anything along those lines, but the Revenue Canada looked into the grant, the wage grant subsidy that they provided us during, or provided Jack Byrne Arena during the COVID, and they said that they're treating the Jack Byrne Arena as municipality. So it's presently being reviewed as by legal, but the potential is that they're asked for $200,000 back in wages. So just in everybody's mind, that might be a liability for year-end purposes, whoever. We want to make note of it, we're talking with the auditors and that, but we'll certainly know more. We passed on legal and they're reviewing it at present. I guess they don't feel the same way, but it's going to come down to how they view the operations versus the ownership and things of that nature. So just got to throw it out, or just a heads up that is sitting there.
Right, so I'll just toss it out there because I don't want to get involved in any legal thing. But if we own a building, like the bank, building that we do own, and we're releasing that out to the bank, and the bank applied for that wage subsidy, they would still get it. They're a business renting our facility. The same as Jack Byrne Arena Board is a independent business renting our facility. So I don't see how they could not qualify. Anyway, that's just my own opinion on it. Not a legal scholar or anything.
I agree.
Mayor, can I touch on that too? The lease agreement, when we did that review, there's language in that states that any cost that the town will be on the hook for our 56%, I think it is, would have to be agreed to and signed off in the financials for that year. And it's presented to us at budget time. So I'd be curious, and again, legal can do its thing there, but I'd be curious to have that looked into, because when we did that lease agreement, we were very clear about liabilities that come up at Jack Byrne Arena. It is being managed by an independent board, which is independent of the town of Torbay, and we were very keen about making sure that the liability for the residents in the town of Torbay, when it comes to the operations of that facility, were at arm's length, and that was the reason why that went in there. So I would ask that that be reviewed as part of the process as well, to make sure that residents are protected, and we look at that with some serious due diligence.
I met with the town manager, the arena manager, and asked her to submit those documents to legal when she went for legal opinion. So make sure you send along the lease agreement and the ownership agreement and whatever documentation we have associated with it, so that they can certainly review that. So.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. He never has an update, and then when he got one, it's all bad news.
I just throw it out there. I said, don't get alarmed. I said, just let you know if you hear the grapevine somewhere along the way.
All right, no worries. Northeast Avalon Joint Council, Deputy Mayor's not here. I don't think there was a meeting. Was there, Council Pepper? No. RNC, I don't have an update. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, Councilor Manning.
Okay, I don't have any minutes there right now. Minutes will be for the next public meeting. We did meet on last Monday night, and as always, the department is well-oiled machine over there, actually.
Perfect.
Proud to say.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. UMC Committee, I don't have any update. I do know that we're going to be hopefully meeting soon, here in late March or April in Pasadena. So when I find it out, Councilor Tapper, you mentioned to me the other day, I'll forward you on the information if you'd like to attend. Okay.
Mayor, just a question about the RNC.
Yep.
Last time we talked about some of the stats. Just wondering if we've had any progress on that.
I didn't get an opportunity to reach out to them yet. I'm still looking for that particular person's name that we had that provided those stats. I think we had a meeting here, it's last year now. I have to go back through my emails and find it. I just never had the opportunity.
That's okay. I just wanted to touch on that. And the other thing I wanted to do was extend a thank you to them. I've seen them in the community a fair bit. The last bit, you know, there was someone hauled off when I was coming into Torbay this morning, and their presence has been noted. So I just want to extend a thank you to them for that.
Excellent, thank you. Where am I to? No notice of motion, new business. Councilor Appleby.
Do you ever know me or what?
Listen, you never passed it. It's 5 years you've been here. 6. I didn't know why you were tonight.
Not gonna do it tonight. Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to take a minute to extend condolences to my dear, beautiful friend and her family. Elizabeth is a friend to all of us, and very, very good friend of mine. I was speaking to her just as recently as Valentine's Day, and one of the things I said to her was, "I love you," and she was like, "And I feel it." And you know what? That's how she made all of us feel. And her Believe campaign was very powerful. Her impact on everybody was amazing. And someone said, you know, her ability to be a friend was the golden ticket, because everybody knew her to be just that, a really, really good friend. And that's who I know her to be. And Lisa Niblock had a post up today, and she said, I'm going to make sure that her daughters know who her mom was. And every chance I get, I'm going to share what a rock star she is. And, you know, it reminded me of something that was said to me when my dad died. The comment was, not everybody gets the legacy that was left to you. And I think for those beautiful little girls, that's the message. Not everybody gets the legacy that their mom left for them. So as my friend, as a counselor, as deputy mayor, as one heck of a fine person to hang out with, I just want to extend the most heartfelt condolences. And I want to thank our council for what we did for her when we could. She appreciated that. And I am going to miss her dearly. And I know that we're all going to miss her dearly. So thank you for holding the space to wish condolences to her family.
No problem. You're welcome. Well said. Councillor Goss?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to congratulate our, we had a volleyball team from our school, actually. They were grade 9, 10, and 11. It was this U17 tournament in Mount Pearl. Normally they would have went under Holy Trinity, but because they picked up 3 grade 9s, they went under a club team called Gale Force. Nonetheless, they are all from Holy Trinity High School, and they won the Tier 2 segment of that tournament, and I will say it was a very, very good tournament. They played exceptionally well, and you know, beat another good team in the final. So just want to say congratulations. And our volleyball system, my daughter came up through, and Daryl Pye was a coach that I had a lot of interaction with, coached with, and I often wondered if the program would die after he had passed. And I'm very happy to see it's alive and well. And even the fact that Holy Trinity probably had the first boys team that I don't know when, if you look back through. So to have that as well, I'm very proud of the volunteers.
Excellent. And I know my daughter Kathleen came up through that volleyball program and
Yep.
the basketball program
Yep.
too. And it's one thing that I kind of miss from her being out of high school is going to the volleyball and basketball tournaments. It's a whole lot of fun for everybody.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Just going to echo what Councillor Appy said about Elizabeth. You know, she was a friend to me, and she was a tremendous fighter. And her positive attitude was just, I guess it was contagious to everybody around her. I never heard her complain, even when she came back and she had the bad news of her last ditch effort that wasn't going to go for her. She didn't complain about it. She was positive. She was a tremendous role model, and you know, my condolences to the entire town of Paradise and to all of her family and friends, which includes a lot of people around this table and many other council tables around.
And this community.
And you know, I'm really going to miss her. So, I want to say congratulations to Team Perry, one of the curling teams that we sponsor, that Nicholas Codger plays for, that won the Under 18 Nationals. And they went undefeated in the round robin of the Under 20 Provincials and lost in the final. So that's a pretty good record for a couple of weeks. And you know, it's great to have that success and people in our town involved in it. And it's great that we can be a little part of it as much as we are. I want to say thank you to our staff, particularly the Public Works people. No offense to everybody else, but since Friday or Thursday, it was even before that, must have been before that, because I didn't make my quota of days at the office this week
Wednesday.
because of the snow. And I know it's not easy. It's long hours. It's sometimes there's a lot of complaining, but our snow clearing staff and all of our staff, but our snow clearing staff, particular in the last weekend. They're very professional, they do a great job. Are they perfect? No, I wish we were all perfect. But they do the best that they can, and I would hope that residents appreciate what it is that they do. One thing that, you know, it'd be great if we could go around and plow everybody's driveway in the town of Torbay, but we can't. You know, there's a lot of snow around. I want people to be safe, help your neighbors when you can. I saw a wonderful post from the fire department that 4 residents came by, they were shoveling out, they were trying to get into a call, and the fire department were there shoveling, and these 4 other people came over and helped them shovel out their driveway to get that person out. So, you know, that's what it's about, living in a community. You come out, you help each other when you can, and, you know, we're all better off for it. So thank you. With that, did we get any questions came in?
Just a sec. Nope.
Okay, perfect. Well, perfect that we didn't, or it doesn't matter to me if we do or not. You're gonna get answered one way or the other. So, next public council meeting scheduled to take place Monday, March 4th, 2024, 6:30, right here in the council chambers of the Torbay Town Hall. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Moved and
Second.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Off we go.